just banging in the middle, clash. Really no head movement, no footwork. I like it. The fans like it. Might not be good for his future health, but
plan and dropped him twice. First off was a jab. Second time was a beautiful hook.
Beautiful.
Caught him coming in. Caught him right in the eye. He couldn't see it. He just couldn't see it. Yeah, that spat out his mouth guard. The ref just grabbed it and just put it right back in his mouth. Nasty, man.
Yeah, he's proved once again why he is the face of boxing. Why did Charlo look like he was so nervous, bro? The moment he walked out, it looked like everything hit him in that second. He looked stiff. He looked kind of worrisome. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Last Round Boxing Podcast, where we go over everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything else in the middle. My name is Rudo.
Pablo.
Also Al.
And we are your co-hosts for today. Well, I mean, it's really hard to talk about anything else other than, what we saw, the Canelo versus Charlo fight. But before we get into that, let's get a little rundown of the fights before the main event. Let's start off with the opening bout. Let's start with Elijah Garcia versus Armando Resendiz. Wow, what an entertaining fight for a fight of this magnitude. Two guys who were willing to fight, give it their all, and yeah, what was your guys' thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was honestly like a fight of the night. I was really surprised. I think that the Showtime did a really good job, not only building, off of the main event because that's what everyone's coming to see, but also like putting good fights on leading up to the Canelo fight. It was a great opening first fight. I think it was my fight of the night. Two guys, young prospects. We had Garcia, who's only 20 years old, 16 fights in, very young, and he's looking good, but some things to change. But all in all, bright futures ahead for both fighters, honestly.
Yeah, like you said, this was also my fight of the night. I mean, the thing is, people are probably gonna criticize the fight because it was just a lot of bang. It was action packed. Very well entertaining fight. But people are gonna criticize, saying, "Oh, where's the head movement? Where's the defense? Where's this and that? Yada yada." But I mean, we're talking about a 20-year-old and a 24-year-old. Still very young. Especially Garcia. 20 years old, became a dad at 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. He already has 16, 17 fights. And he's performing like that. I mean, yeah, you can tinker some things, but overall, great performance. He looked really sharp. Great southpaw style. I like his style. Just in there to bang, really sharp counters. And that knockdown, I was really surprised. That was a beautiful combination. Shot to the body, and then shot to the with a right hook to the body, and then a right hook upstairs. Kind of ended the night pretty much at that point.
Doubled it up. Garcia. Just like you said, there's some things to change with him. But what I really like about him is that his style is just like catered to the fans.
Yes.
Like this is a fighter that is going to be easy to sell, especially if he keeps on going into the momentum. He got a lot of eyes, obviously a lot of exposure fighting, opening the night for Canelo. And it's just one of those fighters. It's just easy to like, head to head, like you said, just banging in the middle, clash. Really no head movement, no footwork, not a lot of everything, just a lot of punches being thrown. I like it. The fans like it. Might not be good for his future health, but it's all better for our entertainment.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a couple things that I feel like he could work on, maybe a little bit more movement. I feel like he was just too he's strong. You know what I'm saying? He had a kid at 16. He's already got that dad power at 20.
Yeah, he got that. Yeah.
So and that's good. You know what I'm saying? Especially some of these other guys at 160. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have that going into that power. Having that power and moving up within levels and whatnot. But I think, if he moves his head a little bit more, stuff like that, little upgrades to his defense, I think overall, he's already there almost, I would say, in the aspect of can bang it out, got the power, but just the little tweaks and stuff like that to the defense is definitely going to help him in the long run, I think.
Yeah, if he can get the defense part down, then he's a complete fighter. Yeah. Because the offense, he's good off it. He has power, throws good combinations. he has heart.
Yeah.
He's able to stay in there and not back down. Where Resendiz, who is a respectable opponent,
Exactly.
he's a tough guy.
He beat a former world champion as well.
Exactly. Busted up his lip, and so to put a performance up like that against an opponent who's tough, he didn't cower out. Big lights, so young. It goes to show, he is definitely made for this game. Just tweaking the defense, which is that's the hardest part to get down. The head movement, footwork. I'd like to see some more lateral movement. He was a bit flat-footed. But it was, again, that type of fight, man. It was just head-to-head clashing, what I like to see. Bright future for Danny Garcia. The Garcia on my mind. Elijah Garcia. So I'm interested to see, 20 years old. I think he got an interim belt, so I don't think he's mandatory, nothing. But, he definitely has opportunities.
Yeah, he has a bright future. This fight was really good matchmaking. Both styles just clashed. It was like they were made for each other. In there, and it was really nice, fun seeing that kind of fight from the first round all the way to the last round. Just bunch of punches, lots of combinations. It gave us something good to open up the card with. And like you said, and like we've already said, probably the fight of the night. I can't wait to see more of Elijah in the future. I'm really this fight really put me on him, and I want to see how he develops in the future.
Yeah, I'm just so I'm so impressed by his heart. I mean, 20 years old, bright lights, and he was getting touched up as well. Let's not forget, this wasn't like a fully one-sided fight. It was back and forth action. Elijah Garcia would land a beautiful combination, hurt Resendiz, make him go backwards, and then Resendiz would come back and land something big on Garcia. So it was one of these fights that, like, you really had to give it your all. And that's what Elijah did. And that's good to see from such a young fighter.
Well, what do you want to see? What's next? If you were in his corner, Elijah Garcia's corner, what do you like to see next from this?
I'd like to see him maintain activity, like being relevant. Because right now, he got a lot of exposure, a lot of eyes. A lot of people, maybe are looking his direction now. So what I'd like is for him to be active, keep on fighting, keep on being in the ring. Make sure people remember your name. I feel like a lot of fighters sometimes forget that at the end of the day, this is also a show business. So you have to, put your name out there. You have to show that, you're here for the long game. You're here to make some noise, get some belts, get some checks. You're here to do some damage. And so I'd like to see him back in the ring ASAP. This was a tough fight, so we'll see how long, how much damage he took. He received a decent amount. But early next year, I'd love to see him back in the ring.
What about you?
No, yeah, he said everything. He checks out all the boxes. Just staying relevant, just staying active. That's the most important part of a boxer. In his career, just staying active, making sure that you are putting yourself out there. And if I was in this team, maybe just continue building them up, continue working in the gym, staying sharp, staying ready, because another opportunity can arise where he can get more exposure or just bigger checks, like he said. I just want him to fight as much as he can. Hopefully early next year for next PBC or another Showtime boxing event.
Yeah, because you don't want to rush like a fighter like that. It's unnecessary. He's only 16 fights in, 20 years old. There's no need. You have plenty of time. So I'd love for them to just like build him, let him evolve into the fighter that he wants to become. He's got some weaknesses. That's perfectly fine. That's expected of a 20-year-old, right? So what they should do, work on it in the gym, and also get fights to where you can display your new skills or what you're working on. I'd like to see him. I'd like them to take his path very slowly and just build him up into a fighter where I think he could be a very big name.
Yeah, he could be a big name, especially at middleweight, because middleweight a couple years ago was one of the hottest divisions, and if you look at it now, it kind of looks like a barren wasteland. It's There's not much noise being made there. So maybe he can be that guy who puts the division back on notice. You know, if was given enough time, given enough experience, opportunities, he may be that next guy at 160. Who knows? We just have to see.
We just have to wait and see, man. Like it's great to see him just like blossoming into his career and into a fighter. So yeah, definitely much more interested. If I was a betting man, I'd invest in the Elijah Garcia stock.
There we go.
Yeah.
Something that you said that I thought was kind of interesting, that just kind of slow down, you know what I'm saying? And I agree with that on some part. He's just 20. This is probably the biggest fight of his career, given right now, just the magnitude of the undercard that he was on. But and that's another thing like that I was gonna say. It looks like do you think they're trying to kind of like get him some type of on the fast track? As what you said before, he's 20 years old, 16 fights, and already they put him up against a guy who beat an ex-world champion.
Yeah, this was a very big step up.
Yeah.
A very big step up. It's an interesting question. I think just based off of this fight, I mean, he's definitely looking to move up in the rankings. He's definitely looking to I don't know, like I'm not sure if like compete for a world title yet, but like he wants to be up there like a challenger, not a challenger, like a competitor,
contender.
Contender.
Like,
That's the word I was looking for. He wants to be a contender, and I think it's smart. I mean, he definitely he passed this test, which is a very big test. It's no easy feat to do what he did to Resendiz, so that's a good sign. I'd personally probably keep it slowed down a little bit. You just don't want to get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Going back to the question that I asked you guys, what would you guys do if you guys were in his corner? Yeah, I would probably take at least the next fight kind of like a slow down, maybe an opponent that's not too much of a high risk, but something more that's compatible with him, that he can kind of, like what you said, blossom into showing his skills. Maybe put him in on another big card as well, since he delivered on this fight. On this undercard, maybe he'll be able to deliver on another bigger card as well.
Yeah, definitely. And if I remember correctly, I don't think he called out anybody specifically. So that could tell us something, that he's not like actively looking to fight for a world title, his next fight or something. But yeah, I think it's just a question of maintaining relevancy. Being active, working on the things that you have to work on. And that's obviously going to be fixed in the gym with his trainer. So hopefully he has a good team around him, because you know how important that is, especially with young fighters.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, definitely excited to continue to see what happens in his career and whatnot. Very excited. But now moving on, speaking about other ex-world champions, we had next on the undercard after that, it was Yordenis Ugas versus Mario Barrios. And first of all, okay, up until that point when we were watching, the fight yesterday, I was pretty surprised about just the performance that Mario had. I really did not expect Mario to perform like that. He really stepped up to the plate, really, compared to some of these other fights. Against Tank, it was admirable.
He did his best.
He did his best.
Yeah.
He did his best. Against Thurman, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of hoping he would beat Thurman just based off the 2-year layoff that Thurman had prior to their bout.
Nah, Thurman disfigured his face, man.
He disfigured his face. Yeah, it did not look like Thurman.
Or Barrios.
It did not look like Barrios.
Yeah.
But now, he really shut Ugas up. Really, like, Ugas didn't really have anything that he could come back to. And no, Barrios put on a wonderful show.
Yeah, finally Barrios got his win, his signature win. Mm-hmm. He got his signature win, man. And what better way to do it than the undercard Canelo, the undercard of Canelo. Perfect timing, stepped up to the occasion, just like you said. And I was impressed. I definitely was impressed. Firstly, I was impressed by his shorts and his color scheme. That's the first thing. But that boy knows how to dress, man.
Nice fit. Yeah.
But like he looked better. He had a trainer change. I don't know who his trainer is now, but he left his longtime trainer.
His trainer, he's also kind of like a manager.
Okay.
Bob Santos.
Bob Santos.
Bob Santos.
Oh,
from
okay.
Las Vegas, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. maybe that's doing good. That's doing good for Barrios because yeah, he looked good, man. Like towards the beginning, the fight was much closer. A lot of rounds, Barrios would start off really well, and then towards the later end, Ugas would come up and then try to steal the round. Yeah, so it was competitive at the beginning, but once we got into the second half of the fight, I think that's where Barrios really started to pull the lead. I think he shut Ugas' eye off, and it went downhill from there. You know, Barrios did what he had to do, touch him up with the jab. His jab looked phenomenal last night, and it was a necessary weapon, man. You know, as merciless as this sounds, yeah, you know your opponent has a weakness in his eye, well, you're gonna target it. So you know, there's no this is boxing, man. Yeah, and he did what he had to do, and I was impressed.
Yeah, me too. You know, it's based on Barrios' previous performances. I was, you know, not expecting him to perform the way he performed last night. You know, against Ugas, especially against Ugas. You know, former world champion at welterweight.
Beat Manny Pacquiao.
He beat Pacquiao. You know, you could make the argument that he's not the best. You know, Spence destroyed him. Blah blah. Regardless of that, this is still a big name for especially someone like Mario Barrios, you know, who's just 2 or 3 fights into his welterweight run right now. So yeah, he was desperately looking for a signature win, and you know, he stayed disciplined, followed the game plan, and dropped him twice. You know, first off was a jab. In the second, and then second time was a beautiful hook. Caught him coming in, caught him right in the eye. He couldn't see it. He just couldn't see it. Yeah, that's why he couldn't see it. But he was hurt.
Yeah,
he was so hurt. And I liked how you know, Ugas, you know, when he spat out his mouth guard, the ref just grabbed it and just put it right back, and it was nasty, man.
Yeah, he took a point too. He's like, hey, don't spit that mouth guard.
Yeah, he took a point. Yeah, that last round was hellacious for Ugas. My main question though is what's next for Ugas? You know, he's fought against Earl Spence, got stopped, his eye, you know, broke his orbital bone, came back, fought Barrios last night, and seemed like his previous injury came back up. You know, what's next for him? He's 37, 38. He's at that age where a lot of boxers, you know, begin to think about retirement or already retired by that point. So what's his future in the welterweight?
Yeah, I think it might be time for Ugas to retire now. I think he should hang up the gloves because just like the exact same reasons you said, there's two things. He's 38. I think he's 37, but he's about to be 38. So he's old. You know, like he's been in a lot of fights, a lot of wars. He's been like he's just one of those fighters that takes a lot of damage, and that definitely does impact you, especially as you get older. And also, number two is we've seen this fight showed us that his eye injury that he suffered against Spence stayed there. You know, that's some residual damage that you're not going to be able to shake off, you know, because he took a decently long layoff. Yeah. I'm sure he was healthy. I'm sure he trained right. I'm sure he did all of these things. And Mario Barrios, someone who isn't known for the biggest punch, was able to swell up his eye severely to where the doctor had to look at Ugas' eye several times throughout the fight. So I think it might be time for Ugas, man. Like you got nothing left to prove. You know, you did your thing at welterweight, became a world champion. You got your signature win against Manny Pacquiao. What more can you ask? Yeah. Like what I don't want to see happen is him continue to compete and just get more and more beat up. So hopefully he comes into his senses and decides to hang up the gloves.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, yeah. You know, as a boxer, it's really hard to really tell another fighter, like, you know, you got to retire. But, you know, it's really, at this point, I don't really see what else he could do. You know what I'm saying? It's what you said before, that eye injury. It's possible that broken orbital bone is probably broken again.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's likely to continue to get broken every fight if he, you know, the likelihood of it continuing to get damaged after every fight is going to be there. He's 37, 38. I don't think he's going to fight anymore. Like, there's no other reason why he should fight. You know what I'm saying? If he would want to become a world titleist again, he would have to go through that long road again.
Yeah, you have to build up again, like from the bottom.
He would have to fight guys like Boots, Stallion.
Stalliones,
Yeah, the pronunciation a little bit tricky with that. You just got to fight guys like that. And does Ugas at 37, 38, let's talk about next year. Is it really a possibility of him beating guys like that?
No.
It's really unlikely. And, now that his health is somewhat, on the line, possibly. Yeah, man, I think it's just best, for his career, for his life, to maybe just kind of hang up the gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really sure what his background was, other than Cuban. I'm not sure if he left Cuba and stuff like that. But, I mean, you left Cuba to come to the United States to then possibly not only make money, but also become a world champion. He accomplished that. You know what I'm saying? That's respectable. No one can take that away from you. That will always be there. But yeah, at this point, I believe that's probably the best course of action for him.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary damage, man. There's really no reason, and this is something we see all the time in boxing, is boxers don't know when to call it quits. I think he accomplished what he wanted to do. I'm sure he's living comfortably now. He's had some very big fights. I'm sure the payouts have been fine. So hopefully he's able to, live comfortably, hang up the gloves, finally call it a day. And, you got to respect him, man. I felt for Ugas. He's a tough guy, Cuban. You know how the background over there is. So it's you just got to respect him, man. Nothing, you can't take it, what he did. Can't take it away from him. And, yeah, he should probably hang up the gloves.
Yeah, I remember you guys both were going or predicted that Ugas was gonna win. I was the only one who predicted Barrios was gonna win. It was a long shot, Barrios was the big underdog. So even though I was going for Barrios, that especially that last round, I felt for Ugas, seeing his eyes, seeing him get dropped, seeing him spit out his mouth guard, that tells you a lot, what the fighter's going through. That last round probably felt like eternal for him. Because that last round made me feel, I was like, man, this dude he beat Pacquiao only for him right now. It is kind of sad seeing him. He goes off, beats Pacquiao. Next fight, he fights Spence, gets his eye broken, comes back after like a year and a half long layoff, and then same thing happens to his eye.
Yeah.
Against a fighter, who's there to fight, but
not the biggest puncher.
Not the biggest puncher. You were the big favorite, and so for him, this fight completely went off the rails. So yeah, seeing him, just kind of react the way he was reacting in the final round, made me feel a bit something for him, Yeah. So yeah, I believe that eye, maybe a little bit too much damaged. Maybe should definitely think about hanging up the gloves. And he has the paycheck. He has the money. If he was smart with it, invested in good things, kept it well. So hopefully we see maybe him just decide, just hang it up.
Yeah, and all credit to Mario Barrios, man. He went in there, like you said, an underdog. A lot of people were writing him off. He's had his loss against Tank and then Keith Thurman. A lot of people were saying he's unfit for 147. Well, he came up there and he beat one of like a Boley type of style. Ugas kind of got that Boley type of style, kind of very close guard and just marches forward. And Barrios was able to handle it pretty well. So respect to Barrios. What's next for him?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you guys that. Next for Barrios, I mean, yeah, it just kind of depends. I mean, well, the next thing would be like an actual a tough opponent, or not a tough opponent, but someone who would catapult him into a contender level type of fight. So I'm talking about Boots, Stannis on.
Leones,
stuff like that. Someone of that category that catapult him to the top 10 contenders of whatever major sanctioning body.
Well, is he mandatory now? I mean, this was a title eliminator. I'm pretty sure it was a 12-round fight.
Okay,
I think he is contender.
Contender?
He should be like some close.
Okay.
Close to should be fighting for a world title. So. But the thing is, I just don't see him beating like Boots,
Yeah.
I don't see him beating because we still got some elite guys at 147. Like Boots definitely is the future of 147, especially if Crawford decides to move up in weight, which seems like the most reasonable thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Boots. I don't see him touching Boots at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, then we go back to the thing. Like, who else? I mean, what's the right opponent for him then? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
That was a rhetorical question.
Yeah, we just have to see how that plays out, really, because I mean, he kind of put his name in the hat, but then the name in that hat, I mean, he within the rankings of some of these other fighters, I wouldn't say he's quite up there, unfortunately. Yeah, but I mean, if he's now a top contender, like top 5 or whatever, I would probably be screaming, I want to fight for the belt.
Yeah, me too. Honestly,
Yeah.
you get a big payout. You know, another payday, another opportunity. You know, yeah, definitely. That's what. And because he's also actually, I'm not even sure how young he is.
28.
28.
28.
Okay. Yeah, you know, he's still in
He's
his
about into
prime.
the prime. Yeah.
You know, he just got some experiences with Tank and then with Thurman. Those are good experiences. They should help build him up, and he should, you know, maybe this next opportunity, he'll come in better than ever.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there was a difference now, you know, with those 2 losses against Tank and Thurman and him performing how he did this past weekend. It looked like he has improved significantly as well. So hopefully this also gives him a hella boost of a confidence. So maybe, you know, his next fight he'll be even that much better.
Yeah, definitely.
That much better. Well, moving up
Got the co-main event
along
now.
the line, co-main event, which I feel like a lot of people were not content or had something to say.
It was the worst fight of the night. let's just say it how it is, man. Boring, snooze fest. You know, all those words.
Obviously, we're talking about Jesus Ramos against Erickson Lubin. 2 really good guys, really elite fighters at 154. I've been following both of their careers for a very long time now, and I mean, I was talking with Pablo right before the fight, and he was saying that it was going to be the fight of the night. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Ramos undefeated, Erickson Lubin. He had fought for the belt, I believe, once or twice. I'm not sure. But you know, he's up there too. You know what I'm saying? And he got power. They call him Hammer Hands for a reason. 2 guys who go in there, like to bang. Both got power. That is not how that played out.
Yeah, not at all.
Erickson Lubin had a different game plan in mind, which at the end of the night is what helped
It got him the victory.
Yeah.
So you can't. I mean, I guess you can't blame him.
You can't discredit it.
He
Yeah.
got the victory. I mean, got what he wanted to do, but let's just say the fans weren't happy. On social media, they were ripping him a new one, and then the crowd was also booing him. So you know.
You know what's interesting though? There was a couple fighters that on Twitter I saw that they were pretty happy with Lubin winning. One of them being Hitchinson, and Tank Davis. Yeah, they were kind of happy that I guess they're all boys or all homies. They were happy for him.
Yeah.
And also Shakur actually thought that Lubinson won.
Oh yeah.
As well, he was like, he tweeted out saying that I must be seeing another fight because I got Lubin winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, to be honest, at least in our eyes, we thought the loser actually won. We actually thought Ramos actually won. At least me personally, I thought Ramos did a good job of controlling, really dictating the pace. Really, the aggression. Lubinson mostly on the back foot and being aggressive. The combination, being able to land punches on him while Lubinson was on the rope. Lubinson not being able to really like throw back, just letting himself get worked. And to our surprise, even it showed Canelo's reaction to the decision. He was kind of astonished as well. Yeah, that they gave it to Lubin. Yeah, what'd you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those fights. It was just boring. Like it was just it wasn't. And it was another like messy fight. Like these were close rounds, man. Like they're both really aren't doing that much. At the end of the day, yeah, Ramos is going forward, but is he being effective with the aggression? You know, because anybody can march forward, that's fine. But if you're getting outboxed, then it doesn't really matter. So it was just like one of those strange things that like Lubin was fine going off the back foot. He was perfectly fine. He did not care. He did not want to change anything. That was his game plan. He went in there to go on the back foot. And Jesus Ramos I honestly, I was expecting a little bit more from him. You have your opponent on the ropes. Throw some punches. Do something. Like, be more effective. I think that's the word. They were both ineffective. They both didn't do what they needed to do to satisfy, I guess, the boxing world. And so, do I know who won? Not really. But what I can say is it definitely wasn't like a big scorecard win for like Lubin as they gave it to him. I believe they gave him like a 8-4 to Lubin or like a 9-3, like very very wide scorecards, which I don't agree with. I think it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. I'm gonna be honest, but they were just both not effective at all.
Yeah, I take some guilt into this because I was really hyped up for this fight and I was dubbing it as the fight of the night, prior to the fight. Well, it's mainly based off of Ramos' previous performance against with Joey Spence. Mm-hmm. The way he dismantled him, the way he put combinations together, it was insane. It was entertaining. It was vicious, and that's what I was expecting to see from Ramos. And from Lubin, he's always there to bang, heavy-handed dude. He's never in a boring fight, especially that Fundora fight. Even though he was getting beat up, even though he got dropped, he still came up and dropped Fundora himself. So yeah, we're talking about a man who doesn't quit, who's heavy-handed, who can change the fight in the course of one punch. So I had really high expectations for this fight. So seeing how boring, how boring it was, I was like, I had my head down at some point. I was like, man, I really hyped up. I really got myself hyped up for this fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, I think they were just a bit too cautious. Ramos maybe put a little too much respect on Lubin. Probably respected his power. Didn't want to get caught with that. While Lubin was completely fine doing what he was doing. Just fighting off the back foot. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you could take away from this fight, but the one thing that you can for sure agree on is the fight was boring. Boring fight. Yeah, so let's see how Ramos bounces back. I know he's for sure kicking himself based on this performance. Let's see what he and his team decide to do, his next steps. He's still young. His first defeat, it is what it is. Lubin, on the other hand, probably super ecstatic right now because he gets potentially another shot at a belt. The one thing that's probably been killing him. He came up short for that belt once before. He came up short against Fundora for the interim, and now he potentially has another shot at it. So I know he's feeling pretty good. Today.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm not excited, but I'm just curious to see what next steps happen, especially at 154, where it seems that division's starting to heat up a lot more now,
Yeah, I think Lubin, for him to go out like embarrassing in that first Charlo fight, like, it was his first title fight, I'm sure he was excited. Sure, he was like, oh, I got power too. Maybe I could beat Charlo, this and that. For him to go out like that, it was sad. So, he got some victories now. I'm sure he learned a lot about himself in that Fundora fight. That I am a dog. So, that's maybe in this next Charlo fight it'll be better. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple things that I can take away. First of all, congrats to Lubin, but also he showed much more dimensions than what I am accustomed to seeing him. He's called Hammer Hands because he goes in there, likes to bang. He tried to do it with Charlo, didn't work out. He still maintained on that kind of style, you know what I'm saying? Try to bang it out. He's got good power in both hands. And, against Fundora, I mean, he dropped the giant, the Towering Inferno for the first time ever. But, I mean, in the process, he also got pretty banged up.
Yeah.
So I think coming into this fight, he knew that Ramos loves that type of in-the-pocket exchange and just, bang on each other's heads. So I think he did him and his coach did a pretty smart thing of just changing it up completely, like a whole different, just complete boxing, going on the back foot, using a lot of his legs, movement, stuff like that, move around and stuff like that. And yeah, that was really good. So I'm actually kind of curious to see how this new Erickson Lubin 2.0 looks, now that he's now on the now he can fight for a world title again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jesus Ramos, though, on the other hand, though, some key points that I kind of took away was especially the last 4 rounds, or at least the second half of the fight. He did kind of let go of the gas a little bit. Although I did have him winning the fight, I just assumed that. I was like, oh, okay, Erickson is moving, trying to box a lot more, so I understand that as a guy who likes to, like, bang it out, if the opponent isn't willing to stay, it's a little harder. So I understand. But I think those are key things that, he messed up. And I believe moving forward, he will be able to actually correct that, I think.
Well, I'll say this, obviously Lubin is now has the opportunity to fight for a world title. I don't think he beats Zoo. I don't think he beats Charlo either. But I don't think he beats Zoo even. I think Zoo got a better chance. This Lubin is, like you said. I mean, yeah, he did show a different style that I guess he can pull out of his arsenal. That's a good thing to have. Just different types of things you can do inside of the ring. But nonetheless, even if he fights like that against Zoo, that's Zoo's perfect fight. Yeah, get him on the ropes. I'll show you. Yeah, I'll get him on the ropes because Zoo will definitely let his hands go once he gets him on the ropes. He's afraid of nobody. They make him different in the down under. So yeah, I think Zoo. If Lubin, now it's his time to step up to the plate, fight at the elite levels at 154. I do not see him being successful.
Do you see him having a better chance of beating Tszyu or Charlo?
Zoo.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This is my thing. I mean, I still think Charlo's still the king at 154.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I still think he's the king.
Okay.
He lost, obviously, but I still think he's the king at 154. I think Zoo, people are, they're saying he's the uncrowned king. I'm not sure if he's going to be upgraded to a world title.
I think
he just got, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right when the bell rung.
When the bell rung, yeah, he was upgraded. So he's a world champion now.
Let's go.
Round of applause.
What the? He's a world title. He's a world champion. I don't know why I say world title. He's a world champion now. And, if I was Lubin, I'd prefer the Zoo fight than the Charlo fight.
Really? I mean, that's still hard, yeah. But just based off, before we even talk about the main event, just based off Charlo's performance, though, I mean, if I was Lubin, I would probably be like, yo, I kind of want that rematch with Charlo, just based off the performance that he did. But, I mean, yeah, it's up to him decides what route he really wants to take. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how that really plays out. Speaking of Charlo,
I guess, yeah, main
the
event.
main event of the evening.
He's hyped.
Canelo, face of boxing, proved once again why he is the face of boxing. No doubt in my mind. Okay, I was not expecting this fight to play out just like the last fight. I did not expect this fight to play out the way it played out. Why did Charlo look like he was so nervous, bro? The moment he walked out, it looked like everything hit him in that second. He looked stiff. He looked kind of worrisome. And he fought. At the beginning, I really thought he was just kind of respecting Canelo, but it seemed as though he was kind of scared almost to sort of engage in any shape or form.
Yeah.
Canelo showed why, he is the best. He's going to continue to be the best. I mean, he said it himself. This version of Canelo, no one's going to beat him. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't want to be a harsh critic, but, Charlo went out sad. For someone to be calling out a fighter for this many years and for you to perform the way you did, I think he went out sad.
Yeah, it was definitely... you know what it was? I don't think it was necessarily the skills. It was just that Charlo was just surviving. Like, he literally threw zero offense. He was only on defense. That's it. The boy was... because his lateral movement was amazing. He looked good. His movement was nice. But he's not doing anything with it. You can't win a fight just by running. Like, you got to throw punches. And that was Charlo's mistake. Yeah, I think the lights got to him. I think that he was fine with losing a decision to Canelo no shame in that. The boxing world isn't gonna ridicule him because he lost to Canelo, someone as great as Canelo. So he was fine with it. He decided in his mind, okay, I'm just gonna survive, and that's what he did. So yeah.
Yeah. So Charlo, Canelo. You could say, you can make the argument that Charlo's first time on the big stage, he was just nervous, this big occasion, biggest fight of his career, yada, yada, yada. You could say that, and it could be true to a certain point. But I think the main thing is just the weight, Charlo's so used to knocking everyone out, hurting people at 154, that once you go up 2 weight divisions and fight the kingpin at 168, and especially a man like Canelo, who's fought big dudes and he's never been dropped, has a good chin, it's going to be a lot different, and also the power is going to be a lot different. Canelo just hits a lot more harder than any other opponent I believe Charlo's ever faced. And, you got to respect the weight, that's why we have weight classes in boxing. I think Charlo may have underestimated the amount of how much the factor of weight can do, because during the fight you could tell he was a bit nervous, refused to let his hands go, and he didn't allow Canelo many knockout opportunities throughout the fight. Especially that knockdown, though. That knockdown was beautiful.
That knockdown was beautiful.
It was, he jab, and then with a right hand straight down.
Right in the forehead.
Right in the forehead. And the thing is, right when he landed that punch, you could tell Charlo was buzzed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, straight up. His head snapped back, kind of buckled him a little bit, and then he did the smart thing, took the knee,
Yeah, exactly. The smart thing to survive longer, he was like, okay, I should probably sit my ass down, or else this motherfucker's gonna knock me out.
Yeah, smart, it got him to survive the whole fight, but... I think he realized the pedigree of Canelo. Once Canelo gives off that energy in that ring,
the king,
that demands respect, and that's what he did to Charlo. And like in the words of what Terrence Crawford said, Canelo made the lion look like a baby cub.
Yeah, I think Crawford did say it best, man. He said the same thing. Charlo went outside. He let Canelo just spank him. Let him spank him. He was comfortable with losing. That's what it was. Like, you saw in Charlo's whole demeanor that his fire wasn't there. He wasn't there to knock out Canelo. Let's go. No, he was there to, okay, he's not beating me that bad. He's not doing the, if I move like this, then he won't be able to hit me like that. That's all it was on his mind, So,
and that's crazy though. Like, the whole demeanor changed. Like, I'm telling you, like, from the years prior to that night, like, it was the different Charlo. Like, it really didn't make any sense to me. Like, how can you yell out from the top of your lungs, I want Canelo, I want this, and then
I can beat Canelo.
I can beat Canelo.
Yeah,
I
can beat Canelo. Yeah,
I can beat Canelo. Canelo's small. Canelo gets tired. He's not that fast. He's flat-footed, and yet you give him all the respect in the world. You know what I'm saying? Fighting on the back foot. Yeah, man. I mean, going back to what you said about what Crawford had to say, Crawford's now not interested in fighting Charlo now. That's crazy.
Nah, I think he still should be.
Still fight.
I mean, yeah, he'd still be he's going for like a 3-time undisputed, first time in history. Yeah. So,
But Charlo's not.
Charlo isn't undisputed anymore, but it's 3 belts. He only got 1 left, But I think he's just saying that. But yeah, I get the point, Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know how Charlo can bounce back from this a little bit.
Yeah, Charlo just moving back down to 154, honestly. Yeah,
and he even said it, too.
He said himself, 168 just isn't your weight class. You realized that, he realized it firsthand that 168 is too much, and I understand he was a little bit nervous, probably because also the weight and this and that, but yeah, 154 should be his future. Just stay there, see... Maybe get another big fight. You have a potential next big fight with Crawford. And you should take it. But most important thing, just stay active, bro. Just stay active. Don't
go into another year-long layoff.
Yeah. Just stay active. And just bounce back from this. Meanwhile, Canelo, on the other hand, he looked good.
Yeah, what do you guys think of his performance?
Dominant. Very dominant. Very comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable. I think just easy.
He just went in there, did what he had to do. Just really dominant performance from him. Ripped the body. Beautiful work with the hooks. You know, he really showed the boxing world, hey, like I still have it. And I also liked how he wouldn't sit down on the stool. He would stand up like as a way to hit back at the critics who were saying, "Oh, you gas out." Yeah. You know, for him to show that he's, you know, I'm still him. And yeah, he looked physically. He looked really well. He looked really muscular. He looked really toned. You know, you could tell he took this camp seriously. And even after the fight, his post fight conference or the interview, yeah. You could tell he was pretty hyped. He's saying that no one beats this Canelo. And when a fighter says something like that, you know they were hyped.
He's feeling himself.
Yeah,
he's talking his shit, man.
Yeah, so it made me happy seeing this Canelo performance prior to his previous ones, which he hasn't looked that good. So seeing him now bounce back tells me that he really did mean every single word that he was, you know, gonna bounce back hard.
Yeah, I think the best way to explain his performance is just like in control. Like he was just in control from the beginning to the last bell. Like just every single round, he set the tone of the fight. Whenever he wanted to attack, he attacked. Whenever he wanted to relax, he relaxed. It was just complete control. He set the pace, and Charlo was able to do nothing against Canelo. Yeah.
Yeah, this seemed like a sparring, to be honest. Like, this was not
a
hard test at all. Some of these, I know people like to give the unofficial nickname to Canelo the UK Slayer, just based off all the UK fighters that he has beaten. And I would say within, like, some of these other guys, they don't really compare, or, you know, their skills maybe don't match up to, you know, Charlo or whatever, but they did a lot better than what Charlo did. You know what I'm saying? So this really seemed like just a regular sparring, to be honest, sparring match. And now Canelo has the opportunity to not only show why he's the best, but now he's going to continue to look forward to bigger and greater things now.
Yeah, because like you said, bro, John Ryder put up a better performance.
Well, like, because he's also 168 too.
Yeah, but I don't know
about the weight though. Charlo's tall though.
Yeah, Charlo is. I don't know about the weight either, because I think I'm sure if Charlo would have fought John Ryder on that night, they would have been competitive. I think it was just his mentality, man. I think he was just hurt. Like, it was just, I don't know. He just didn't believe in himself. I think, dude. He didn't have the fire. It's kind of like with Terrence Crawford. He's one of the fighters. He's a very special fighter, to where he rises to the occasion. When he fought against Spence, everybody in the world was tuning in. This was a highly, highly anticipated fight. Everyone was saying 50-50. Oh my gosh, Spence, we can finally get the fight. Crawford rose to the occasion. He looked his best. He looked his most sharp, his most powerful. That's a dangerous fighter to fight. Someone who rises to the occasion. For Charlo, he didn't rise to the occasion. The lights came on. And he just couldn't do it. He was, nope, I can't do it. Can't do it.
He choked us like that one Eminem song. His mom's spaghetti, knees weak, arm are heavy.
He just referenced
That's Eminem. Exactly what he...
Shout out Eminem.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's from the very...
Look, you mentioned Eminem, and Eminem walked out... he walked out Crawford, yeah.
yeah,
it's a full circle.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I was going through my mind when I was watching this fight live. I was like, yo, this is how Charlo... Like, don't get me wrong, Charlo's fit looked, you know, it was drippy.
Yeah,
drippy.
It was crazy.
But it looked like, just his demeanor and his face looked like, damn, like, this is really... And you know, it's funny, going back, there was... I forgot where in the press conference, Canelo kind of even told him, like... He was like, you're going to know, like, this is different than...
The last press conference.
The last press conference, he was like, this is different. Like, you've never really experienced anything like this. And Charlo was like, no, I've been here, you know, I'm in a disputer or whatever. But
you'll see and you will learn.
You will see, you will learn. Yes.
Sunned him. He sunned him.
He sunned him.
He was like, you're my son. Yeah, I'll kiss you on your forehead.
Canelo was cooking with that line.
Canelo was cooking, man.
Yeah. So, you know, post... press conference. I'll speak on that for Charlo. Charlo said he's gonna go back to 154.
He says he wants to fight with Crawford.
call them out.
Call them out. We'll see how that goes. Although probably Crawford is looking more for Canelo, but we'll see how that goes because Canelo says that it's possible that Jim Lamley was interviewing him in the ring. He was saying that could we see a Benavides? Not Jim Lamley. It's the other way. Jim Gray. Yeah, Jim Gray.
We looked at each other like, what? Jim Lampley? He's back.
Jim Gray.
The goat is back, dude. Jim Gray. Okay.
Jim. I asked him.
The way we looked at each other, we literally side-eyed. We were like, huh?
Jim asked him, was like, can we see a Canelo versus Benavides in May? And, Canelo said, I don't care, whoever. So it looks like he has other things really on his mind. I don't think Crawford is really on his list of potential future opponents.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What's next for Canelo? He definitely. I mean, Canelo always fights like in May, Cinco de Mayo, and then Mexican Independence Day. So we're looking for a May fight. He got some with David Benavides, Crawford, other people, I suppose.
You can get a Bivol
rematch. Yeah.
Or even Charlo at 160.
Yeah, I guess so.
But, nah.
What'd you guys want to see?
Benavides.
I think so.
Benavides.
Right?
It has to be Benavides.
Mm-hmm.
Benavides should beat Andrade. And then that should just set up the clash for May because they're both going to be free. They're both going to be open. It makes perfect sense. Right now they're gonna collide, and it has to happen next year. If not, then that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's literally Cinco de Mayo. Two Mexicans going head to head. Who truly represents Mexico? Spoiler alert: it's Canelo. But
Chavez Jr.
Yeah, Junior. Yeah,
Junior pulls up. No, they get a rematch.
That's what Canelo wants.
Canelo Chavez too. No, but Benavides is the one that makes sense. That's the one everyone wants to see. I want that fight next. It has to happen next. If not, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
I am gonna be a little bit disappointed as well.
It should be up next.
Yeah.
Well, so I would say yes. Canelo has really cleared out the division. He's undisputed. He's got all the belts. So now it's the next contenders, and I would say it's David Benavides. That's the one next in line. But if for whatever reason he doesn't decide to fight David, I wouldn't be opposed if he fought Monroe Jr. as well.
Nah.
Although,
Morel. Yeah, Morel. Although I don't think he has enough fights.
I think he's too young.
He's
still like early.
He's too, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have that many fights, and I think that's what it is. I think that's another reason why he hasn't been able to fight with. I think they were trying to set that up with him and David
Benavides, right?
Benavides, but that didn't go through. So if he's able to fight him, sure. But I would say the next likely opponent would probably be David. It just all depends on how he looks against Bobo.
I guess if Bobo pulls out the victory, man.
No way, dude. That would be a full circle.
That'd be crazy, dude. Imagine that.
Payday.
Imagine Bobo is actually the real deal and everyone has been ducking him all these years, dude. Like, he's actually a killer.
Oh, my God, dude. That would be I think that would probably be the upset of the year, bro.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy, dude.
What's the biggest upset also on?
It'd be insane.
Yeah.
So I guess we gotta wait for that result. It's boxing. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen in one punch.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
gotta wait for that result. But what about for Charlo? Just Crawford next or what?
Yeah.
Crawford, if Crawford really wants it, but I mean, we'll just have to see how that plays out. Yeah. That's the thing. We don't know how this is gonna affect Charlo. He didn't get his ass beat.
That's the thing.
So that's really good. But
Yeah.
psychologically, and now come Monday morning, he's gonna have millions of dollars in his bank account. Oh, yeah. He took a year-long layoff. He might take another long year layoff. Honestly, yeah.
He's been rich.
He's been rich.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see, what Charlo wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does this do for Canelo? He was like a lot of people put him like 6th, 7th pound for pound. What's he just defeated Jermell Charlo, an undisputed champion at 154, very, very easily. Me personally, I think it was a 12-0 fight. What happens? Is he number one pound for pound or what?
No, he's not number one pound for pound. I still give it to Crawford, and then followed by Inoue. But he could make you could put him at number 3, maybe number 4. Over Usyk based on how Usyk last fought.
Yeah,
Against Dubois. So it's very interesting to see. I saw a couple people putting them in the top 5 already. Again, because this performance was great, very dominant, very comfortable. He really showed levels. And fighting a fighter like that, it's very hard to beat. So for me, I put him 3 or 4 in my pound for pound.
I think that's fair. I think you're right. I think Crawford should stay at number 1.
Yeah.
Just because of his performance was amazing. In a way, I think also deserves number 2 because of the stuff that he's doing. And yeah, I think I'd give Canelo like 4. I'd put Canelo probably 4. I'd probably put Usyk up there or something like that. Yeah.
Dang, I was gonna put him as 1.
Oh, now we got a Mexican the Stan over here, man. Just because he reps red, white, and green.
Red, white, and green.
Yeah.
No, but it's just like, yeah. I mean, it was undisputed versus undisputed. That's never really been done in history. He has defended his belts 3 times in a 4-belt era. I don't think that's ever been done before as well. Yes, you get other guys. I remember seeing Don Rafael tweet out trying to correct. I think it was Showtime who said this is Canelo's 3rd time defending all his belts. No one has ever done that before. And Don Rafael said, yeah, Mike Tyson, Marvis Hangler. But I believe that was when there was only 3 belts, though.
Oh, okay.
No,
yeah.
not 4.
Not 4.
Yeah, so now it's 4. I mean, that's history. That's going to go down in the books. A lot is on the line, stuff like that. So don't get me wrong, Crawford's performance really good. His performance is pretty good. Usyk, really good guys. There's a reason why they're, depending on, your preference, 1, 2, 3. But I would put Canelo as number 1.
Ooh, okay, so your Canelo's at the top of your list.
Top of my list,
Top of your list, wow. He's back in boxing now.
Yes.
Controls it, okay. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say, I don't know how, a lot of people had Canelo, I think, like, in between, like, 5 and, like,
That was like a 7, yeah.
So, I saw some people have him as 8 as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say he's now within, like, top 5.
Yeah, I think this version of Canelo definitely is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
He's... I like, and the thing is, I just like the mentality. Just like, I think what you said, Pablo, was very, very, very interesting. He did not sit down on his stool, not because he necessarily wanted to, but just to say it in front of his haters. Just to be like, yeah, everyone, they're telling me I gas in the second half. Well, I ain't gonna sit on the stool. He did just in spite of them, bro. And that's some strong mentality right there, man. That's like no F's given at all.
Yeah, he proved it with his actions.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
hit them back with his action.
Exactly.
With his performance. It was that's what I like. If we get that Canelo from now on, that's
dangerous.
Very
man.
hard man to beat. That's he will. If he fights that way against Benavidez, you could see him beating him, even knocking him out.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Prediction right there. I think Canelo knocks out Benavidez.
Are you gonna put your money where your mouth is?
Yeah.
$2.
Bragging rights.
It's the principle that matters.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm not gonna put any predictions until that fight is officially made. Yeah, but I mean, hopefully we get that fight either in May or September. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care.
Yeah. As long as
get in
the ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's all, and I feel like most of you guys can also are on I think we're on the same boat, same page when we say we really want that fight. That fight needs to happen next. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I think we got it.
Yeah.
So we're good. Let us know what you guys thoughts on the card and which one was your favorite. Until then, it's been your boy Rudo,
Pablo.
Also Al.
and this has been the Last Round Boxing Podcast. Peace.